Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 random run, where we take a random character, random weapon, and try to beat Danger 5 with it. Hope you're all doing well. So, with only 11 characters remaining in the 124 win streak challenge, we're using a randomizer wheel, so let's go ahead and roll and see what's up next. Here we have got, looks like, the Sailor. Oh, maybe it's the Lucky? Oh, it did just roll over to the Lucky right at the end. Okay. Well, Lucky, of course, one of my very favorite characters, so let's swap back to Brotato, and then go ahead and pick the Lucky. And we're going to roll a random weapon. Jousting Lance, definitely not the weapon that would be your first pick for this character, but I think still pretty good. It gives us good defensive stats, the speed is good, and Jousting Lance is just a weapon with really high base damage and base stats, which you want for this character, because that's how you start to generate the lead that you need in order to be effective with the Lucky. Really nice to get a crate drop there, as well as some extra money. And let's definitely take the defective steroids. Losing more attack speed is bad. Of course, attack speed is really important for Jousting Lance. Typically, though, with the Lucky, we're more going to rely on our passive. But the defective steroids is still a really nice pickup here. We're definitely going to take a Jousting Lance. I'm also going to lock the Alien Tongue. Pickup radius, of course, is really nice for the Lucky because it's going to let us pick up more materials, especially as we're going to be moving quite quickly with our Jousting Lances, and picking up materials is how we kill stuff. Let's roll here and lock another Jousting Lance. So I could buy the tree. If I do buy the tree, it means that we are probably never buying 2 lances next round, and I do really want to get my weapon set online, so we're going to wait around on the tree. It is unfortunate that we had to wait there. The Lucky does tend to get off to a slow start in the first couple waves, as does Jousting Lance, just as a weapon. I want to avoid picking up materials until there's enemies on the field for those materials to kill. Oh, another tree. Any chance we get it? If I'd manually targeted it, then I could have killed that tree before the end of the wave, so I probably should have done that. Reinforced steel, obviously not that exciting for this character, but we can recycle it for 15 materials, which is great. For the Lucky, we could just take luck. I could also pick up harvesting, but when you see luck on this character, you should usually just grab it. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll re-roll, pick up another lance, and roll again, and get another Jousting Lance. Alright, so despite a relatively slow start, we've managed to pick up 4 with a 5th locked. That should get us our weapon set relatively quickly. Jousting Lance is a pretty expensive weapon, and because the Lucky has lowered XP gain and we're behind on levels, you're not going to typically get early harvesting, so you're playing at a slightly lower economy than most characters in the very first few waves. Obviously, then that is going to pick up as this character's economy starts spiking. I will take 5 harvesting here. Luck is also good, of course, but getting some early harvesting still helps a ton. We'll take a lance, and can I afford both of these items? Yes, I can, but unfortunately that leaves me 1 short of a reroll, so maybe I should actually have not bought the Alien Tongue, and then instead rerolled to try to find another lance. The more enemies there are on the field, the better the Lucky does, of course, because you drop more materials and then you get more kills. So as we continue to go up in wave, in just the wave number, we're going to get more value out of our passive as well. Tree is a really nice find, both because we have really high luck, so we're going to get a lot of crates out of the trees. You'll notice how many free items we've gotten already because we started with 125 luck, and because it drops 3 materials, which you can then use to kill more enemies. We're going to take the helmet here. Yes, it cost me move speed, which we do want for our Jousting Lances, but the armor is still extremely important. Let's reroll here and then take 10 luck. Perfect. I'm going to pick up a Jousting Lance and a Propeller Hat. This is kind of ideal. We'll also lock a Compass and do a reroll upgrade our lance. Upgrading the lance isn't that important for this character, but still, I think, relevant to do. So we get only 4 damage increase, but the attack speed goes up a lot. So I might not increase my jousting lances past level 2 or so. Baby Squid is still nice, even though this character has lowered XP gain. Of course, we can potentially find an XP gain item to offset that, and regen is a stat that we're definitely going to need, so the Baby Squid will give us a ton of that. Basically for free. Or at an extremely reduced cost. I just find this character so satisfying to play, because you're just running around the field, things are just popping all over the place. I really like... So, it's not like my first pick of weapon for the character, but I think Jousting Lance is a really nice one for Lucky, because we don't have to buy any offensive stats early to get our chain rolling, because the Jousting Lance just has really high base damage, so it's gonna get the Lucky's chain rolling sort of regardless. I'm gonna recycle the Ugly Tooth we need to increase our move speed. And it also gives us a bunch of defensive stats, which the character really wants. I could take 3 regen here. I think I will, just because it's a level 2 upgrade, and then we'll take 8 harvesting, try to grow that, take a Baby Squid and a compass, and then do a reroll. I'll lock a level 2 jousting lance, and we'll lock a cake as well, and go to wave 6. Also nice that our first boss wave is a horde wave, because of course that's going to be easier for this character. Whoops. Okay, I do need to pay attention to my... Because we have low attack speed, I don't want to walk into enemies too aggressively there. Almost died. I knew I was safe because I was picking up that consumable before I took the hit, but I did still almost die to those enemies by running directly into them. So... I'm definitely getting complacent because this is such a strong character. I need to pay attention to my movement. I sadly did not manage to get that loot alien kill. I could take 4 melee damage, but I'd rather build move speed on the Lucky. So let's roll here. I could also start trying to increase my attack speed. If we get it back to sort of normal, then it will make our jousting lances much better. Or 3 regen is also a reasonable pick, but I think boosting our attack speed is pretty good. So, increasing your attack speed, when your attack speed is highly negative, increasing it is more impactful numerically speaking, because it is going to take a much larger number off of the amount of time in between attacks that your weapon attacks, so it increases your overall DPS. But thanks to some animation weirdness in Brotato, it's actually much less impactful to increase negative attack speed than it looks like it is on paper. So this is a case where doing the math is a little bit misleading because of a sort of odd way that the game behaves. I don't actually understand exactly why that is the case, but I know that that's the case. Foil, I do want to increase my percent damage. Knockback is fine. I guess we can take the coil here. It's not going to be that exciting, but you do get really high level items when you're playing the Lucky, of course, so we can find things like these early coils and fairies and benefit significantly from those as well. Now, what we haven't found yet is a cyber ball, a baby elephant, anything along those lines, which of course you want on this character. Also, you should typically kill the eggs on wave 7 here, because the big slasher enemies are going to absorb a lot of the damage from your passive. Now, you don't have to kill all of them, but usually you want to kill most of them. We also did kill a curse alien and now have some curse, which is good for the character in that curse is just a good stat, but does play uniquely poorly for the Lucky because enemies with higher health, just being on the field, reduces the amount that you can chain kills. The way to think of this character is as kind of a combo attacker in like a fighting game, or like a brawler, beat-em-up brawler, sort of Arkham Asylum style, where you want to chain your attacks from enemy to enemy. You kill one, that drops a material, that material, you pick it up, it kills another one, and so on. So you really need to get that chain rolling. Baby Elephant is an amazing find here, and I'll take 9 dodge. Armor is a better stat at this point, but we already have 6 dodge from the medieval tag, a Level 3 dodge upgrade will get us to dodge cap fairly quickly. We're going to take the fairy here. That's obviously an amazing find, and then do a reroll. I could take the dynamite. I think I will for 68 upgrade my jousting lances. I think that's still fine. I don't think 41 for just one regeneration is that good, but we will buy another jousting lance and a cyber ball. And now suddenly our luck-based damage is incredible. So all we really need is maximum HP, and then I would say we're in excellent shape with this character. I'm doing too good a job of picking up these materials because we're playing Jousting Lance, so we just move really fast. So I'm picking up materials before enemies have spawned. Two loot aliens as well. Loot alien spawn rate is not supposed to be affected by luck, but I've always felt like it seems to be. Okay, a scar, an amazing find, of course. One of the major penalties for this character is minus 50% XP gain, so offsetting that is really good. And unlike attack speed, mathematically speaking, when you increase your XP gain, it works exactly like you'd think it would on paper, so you end up increasing the total levels that you gain by an even greater amount. I'm going to go ahead and take the Claw Tree here. Does lower my max HP, but it gives us a regen, and the melee damage and crit chance are fine. Wow, early crown as well, that's really fun. But we'll just take luck here. I could roll for harvesting to try to make the crown better, or I could just happen to get a bowler hat in the shop. That's a pretty good option as well, so probably should just do that. And then I'll take a Pocket Factory. This character can afford to buy some nonsense because we're just a very strong character. And so Pocket Factory works well with our plan of just splashing damage around the map randomly and killing enemies that way. I think just for sheer fun, Lucky is probably my favorite character. There's a lot of characters that have sort of more interesting and like strategic gameplay where you have to make really difficult decisions and everything. But this mostly, you know, Brotato is a toy, right? It's less a strategy simulator and more a having fun game, right? Though obviously there's a lot of strategic depth as well. But for sheer dopamine, you just can't beat all of the enemies just popping across the screen. I'm going to take 7% damage here, of course, and I'll keep lowering my max HP to pick up this duct tape. Crystal's a good way to offset our attack speed loss, so I will pick that up. Insanity, I guess I'll grab as well. And Snail does cost me 2% speed, but it's a cursed snail, so I will take it regardless. Here I'm going to reroll, and then we will take 9% more dodge. And great, we got a 9 max HP upgrade. That's exactly what we wanted. Take a Pocket Factory, we'll take a recycling machine, we'll take a coil. I could take Snowball and just do all the things. Typically, this is not a good idea to buy like luck-based damage and elemental damage and all of that kind of thing. But we are in a position where we could potentially do something like that. I think it's still too much nonsense though, so I'm going to pass on that. I will take a banner, and Gummy Berserker is probably worth buying. Range isn't horrible for this weapon, because longer range does mean that we can kill enemies a little further away, and then we can pick up their materials and so on. And the attack speed is relevant, but mostly it gives us a regen from the fairy. We'll take a turret as well, and a jousting lance. Haven't found that many move speed upgrades. So that is something I would like to find a little bit of, just to make our lances hit a little harder. But Jousting Lance has such high base damage that you can see we're still killing stuff really effectively with our lances. Despite their low attack speed, you know, our lowered attack speed, we're still killing stuff with our weapons pretty well. just because this weapon has really high base damage. So that's why I think it's very similar to Spear in that it's got really high base damage and gives you a bunch of a stat that you would already want in the case of movement speed. And then Jousting Lance also happens to scale off that stat as well. So it lets you buy economy stats and defensive stats much more aggressively than you can on other weapons. So I think Jousting Lance is a highly underrated weapon by the community as a whole. I'm going to take the coffee here. Pumpkin I'm going to recycle. And we can do better than a level 1 upgrade. We have 187 luck. I will take 6 max HP though, because again, that's the only thing we really care about is boosting our max health at this point. Fried rice. We don't have any way to light enemies on fire, so let's not buy purely speculative items. We'll take a Jousting Lance and then reroll. Keep upgrading that. I really don't want to cap my move speed. We would still gain the damage on Jousting Lances. So I could take this. Capping at 22. It's a little slower than I want, but we do get a lot of really good stats from it. So let's go ahead and take the Cauldron. I'll lock the Shackles, and we'll try to upgrade our move speed just a little bit more. And then I will try to buy the Shackles and cap it like 30 or so move speed. So we're going to look for a move speed upgrade here. I also maybe should have considered that taking that small magazine more carefully as well, because attack speed is so good for us right now. But losing percent damage does make our passive a lot worse, so I don't want to reduce the effectiveness of our passive, because that will vastly reduce our clear speed. One gentle alien would go so far towards making this character stronger, by the way. It's just a huge boost to our economy and our clear speed, because more enemies just means more uptime on your lucky passive. There's a lot of cursed ribcage enemies. So I would lose 3% damage here in exchange for a regen, and we don't care about the other stats, so I think I'm going to recycle. I will take the cute monkey, though. I could take 10 harvesting. I could take 6 dodge and try to get to dodge cap. Let's just take the 10 harvesting. We've got a crown, so additional harvesting is still good even this late. Here, I now have 23% move speed. Let's take the black flag for sure. Going into the horde wave, that should be a lot of extra money for us. We'll take a whistle also. And I think I will just buy the shackles here. I'll lock the whetstone, because the lifesteal is still somewhat relevant. And then I will lock a jousting lance. I will now take the dynamite just for the 1 regen. 53 for 1 regen. Going into this horde wave I think is fine. And the padding I'll pick up as well, because our max HP is extremely low for wave 12. Max HP being low is in part a function, of course, of the character we're playing. When you have lowered XP gain, your max HP both doesn't increase as much just from the free HP you get when you level up, and you're much less likely to take the most common way to increase your max health, which is just the +9 level ups. Normally, on most characters, you'd be at level 15 or so here, or even higher, and so would have picked up like 9 at max HP on your level 15 level up. Starting to fall a little bit behind in our clear speed on this horde wave here, unfortunately. This is because there's healer enemies in this wave, and so a lot of our random damage that's getting sort of splashed into random enemies is getting healed immediately. So wave 12, because of the healers, was kind of a bad wave for us to have a horde on. I'd have much rather have it on wave 11. We'd have made like 300 more materials, but still obviously not the end of the world. We'll take the coupon here. Hedgehog I will take as well. This is basically 40. Actually, do I take this? So we scale 50% with our melee damage stat. And we get 1 regen, but lose a regen, so 44 for 1 base damage on all our weapons. I think that's just worth it, but only barely. I do, unfortunately, have to take the alien magic here. Losing this much luck, extremely painful. We lose 10 luck for that. But we just need max HP. I'm going to take some move speed here as well. This means that any move speed I get or any move speed reductions I get won't reduce us below cap, and it does still increase the damage on our weapons, even though we're over cap. And then we'll take 2 armor here as well. Let's go ahead and pick up a Jousting Lance and a Padding and a Whetstone. Tentacle, I could take. We can't crit with our lucky passive, but we are doing decent damage with the Jousting Lances anyways, so maybe I should just do that. So let's take that. We'll get a free reroll here. I'm going to go ahead and buy a Jousting Lance and a Leather Vest, and then do another reroll. Lock a bag, community support, perfect. We need more attack speed, and we'll take a tree as well. I really need to increase the damage of my passive as well, because we're actually leaving a lot of these enemies alive. So, gotta find some luck, or more importantly, some percent damage, which currently is quite low for us. A lumberjack shirt would also be really nice, because we are struggling to kill trees sometimes, just because of our really slow attack speed. Though the community support will fix that somewhat. Pick up some consumables here. We don't actually have any increased consumable healing, but still useful to heal with those. Toxic Sludge cost me 2 dodge, which is very important, but I do still want the regeneration, so I'll take the Toxic Sludge. And then here, I'm gonna reroll, because I think we can do better, and do I want dodge, armor, or to reroll for luck? I think let's just take the dodge. We're gonna try to get to dodge cap pretty soon as well. Community support, great. Bag, obviously, amazing. Tree, we're going to take also. Reroll here. Butterfly, I'll take. It's a regen and 2 lifesteal, and then we'll roll again. Vigilante ring, we do really want to improve our percent damage, so I'm going to take that. And Bone Dice as well, we will pick up. And then let's do 1 reroll here. Nice. Bone Dice immediately go into work. Take the Mushroom. I have a Tentacle, so I can benefit from some crit chance. So this wave, of course, if you have the damage to clear the goobers with your passive, it's pretty easy, because you just consistently clear them. If you don't, and unfortunately because there's an elite, we often don't, this is going to be an extremely challenging wave for us. Because a lot of our damage is going to splash to the elite or to other high health enemies. And when it doesn't, it's often going to land on the summoners and make a bunch of summons. So we're going to be dodging a lot of projectiles during this wave. You can see I've actually made things a little harder for myself by buying some items that don't really do that much. Even on a really strong character with a decent weapon, though I think I am coming to believe that Jousting Lance is not as good as I thought it was for the Lucky. I'll take the Gentle Alien here. We'll take a bowler hat, of course. Take Vigilante ring. Mushroom is fine. I think I'm actually going to pass on the Insanity, and we'll just take the head injury here. I really want to boost my passive. We'll take Peaceful Bee, though, and then do another reroll, and a Lemonade is perfect. Rip and Tear, this is more just sort of random splash damage, so that's also good for this character. So in these last couple waves, I've been playing it a little fast and loose so far, but I do need to actually, I think, bring my play back to a more sensible sort of tenor, because that last wave was a little bit risky. Not super dangerous, because our defensive stats are really good still, but it wasn't the best wave we've ever had. And one downside, of course, of Jousting Lance is that you lose damage when you stand still. That counts for your passive damage, so it makes it much harder to gain value from your passive while dodging an elite. This weapon is maybe the worst in the game at fighting elites. It's got to be pretty close anyways. Made a lot of money that wave, though. Take a sad tomato. We're already at 51 regen, though. Triangle of Power. This is an interesting one. So we're likely to take a lot of hits, but 20% damage makes us a lot less likely to take hits, because our damage is pretty abysmal, our percent damage. So I think I will take the Triangle of Power. We will take some more attack speed, even with the community support. I still want to increase my attack speed. 6% increased enemy health for 30 HP for us. That's gotta be worth it. So we're going to take that. We're going to roll here. Focus, also an amazing cursed item to find, even at the cost of a bunch of regeneration. We'll take a corrupted shard for sure. I think I'm still going to pass on these insanities, and then I'll re-roll a couple times. We'll take a bag, and I'll still pick up another whetstone. We don't really need more lifesteal, but it certainly can't hurt. Oh, although I have a coil. I completely forgot I had coil when I bought all these whetstones, so these actually were a mistake. Usually I like buying whetstone just for the incidental healing, but at the cost of 3% damage, I think it's not worth it. So I made the coil really bad by buying those, so definitely some misplays in this run. I fully forgot that I had bought that early coil. This, of course, is the temptation with a character that's really, really powerful and everything, is you turn your brain off and stop tracking what's going on, and then you make things a little harder. Try to kill that curse alien, and we're gonna try to pass through the middle of the map a bunch. Obviously, every time I do that, it costs me 1 hit from Triangle of Power, but it also lets us kill a bunch of enemies by picking up all those materials, so it's still good. We'll take the metal, of course. Coupon will pick up. Here, my armor's pretty poor, so let's just take 3 armor. The focus, this is a massive help. This is going to vastly increase our ability to kill things. Take the scarf here. I don't really care about increasing enemy move speed. And I'm taking the chameleon. It's a very, very inefficient way to buy dodge, but dodge gets so much better the more of it you have that once you're over 40 dodge, you should basically just buy all the dodge that you can see. I'll take the incendiary turret and fried rice when they show up in the same shop like this. That's a decent amount of additional healing. Gotta actually kill these enemies to get the chain started. Certainly buffed, cursed ribcage enemies are absorbing a lot of damage from our passive and our elephant, cyberball, etc. So these guys are a little bit challenging to fight. And they're faster because we bought the scarf. The buffed enemies especially are really dangerous on this wave, so I do need to make sure I'm killing the buffing aliens as much as I can, especially because these are AoE buffs. Make my way through the center here and pick up a bunch of materials to trigger our passive. Okay, there we go. Got the wave much more clear now. I'll take the beanie here. This, obviously, we're over speed cap, but still increases the damage of our weapons. Penguin, we're happy to pick up. Take some more percent damage as well. And then I'm going to pick up Incendiary Turret, Fried Rice. Frozen Heart is pretty good as well. It's going to make the Incendiary Turret heal us more. And the damage on our weapons isn't completely irrelevant. It's not great, but it's still +1 damage on all our weapons. We'll take a Poisonous Tonic as well, and then do a free reroll. We'll take a Jousting Lance. I'm losing damage off these coils, so I don't want to buy more of them. But I will do a reroll. Because we have Bone Dice, we're incentivized to reroll even when it's kind of marginal like that. Fishhook, we won't get value of before the end of the run. try to pick up as many of these materials as possible, but it looks like we still don't have the damage to kill the elite. That's always going to happen with Jousting Lance, because it's a very slow attacking weapon. It's very hard to focus damage on individual enemies, because you have to constantly be moving. And of course, as the Lucky, we start with a huge attack speed penalty, which makes it even more difficult. Fortunately, we don't need to. Yeah, we'll definitely take a lure. Scar, even with just one wave remaining, might get us an extra level. So I think I will take the Scar. We'll take a turret here. More move speed. I feel like we can do better than that. I guess we'll take 12% damage. I also want more luck, but we're given a bowler hat, which does give us some of that. We'll go ahead and combine defective steroids for more max HP and melee damage. I think we can pass on that. We'll take another lure. That's a lot of extra items that we're going to get in the last wave. And then we'll take another cyber ball. That's perfect. A jousting lance as well. Do one more reroll. I'll definitely take some more luck. And I'll take a beanie also, because increasing our move speed for our weapons is still pretty good. Even though we've got Pocket Factory and stuff, the Clockwork Wasp, maybe I should have taken it just for damage. Yeah, I probably should have taken it, because it gives damage to our weapons and also helps our structures, which aren't a huge component of our strategy, but it's a nice little boost to an item that's already close to good enough. Looks like I got all the loot aliens. One of them got buffed, but I think we still managed to pop it there. There's one more over that way. That's fine, though. Decomposing flesh, we're going to recycle. Wheelbarrow, I'm going to recycle. Weird food, I'll pick up. And then snake. I guess I'll take the snake as well, because we have that frozen, or the fried rice. We'll take coffee here. Unfortunately, left a lot of materials on the ground in this last wave. We'll take some extra luck. The cape is going to be great. That gets us to dodge cap, which is perfect. We'll take shady potion. We'll take the charcoal as well, because I do want a little more damage on my weapons to see if we can kill the bosses. Jerky, that's good healing even in the last wave. Treasure map obviously doesn't do anything. We will take a blindfold for some crit chance and clover for some luck. Leather vest, the armor would also have been useful, but I kind of want to try to kill the bosses, so I'm just taking some more offensively oriented items, and then we're going to go to wave 20. With 90 seconds to kill the bosses, I feel like we are in better shape to try to do it. Because our damage, of course, is dealt somewhat slowly, and requires a lot of enemies to spawn. So we're not doing that much damage until a bunch of enemies have spawned. And that's part of why we struggled to kill the elites. That is, we had to wait for like 15 seconds before we even started hurting them at all. So we've got them to about half HP. Looks like I'm not going to quite get there on killing them. Because we're also, of course, losing damage from Triangle of Power. The Triangle of Power still was really good this game, though. Even though we ended up losing a lot of damage from it in many scenarios. Because it lets you get your chain started. So even if you end up with lower damage at the end of the wave with the Triangle of Power, it's still a very useful item for this character. See if we can get one of these boss kills, though. Looks like not quite. I guess the other downside is that we have community support too, but the lucky passive is killing all the enemies, so we don't benefit from community support that much. All right, so obviously a really solid run, of course, with an early fairy that gave us 30 or 28 regeneration, with 112 harvesting from Crown, with a ton of luck, with 16 regen from Baby Squid that we got really early as well. 41k damage from Baby Elephant. The Lucky dealt 132k. And the Cyber Balls, let's see, where are those? Right in here, 95k. So really good damage from our passive. Definitely some mistakes that I made in the mid game, but obviously nowhere near enough to cost us the run. So I think my conclusion is that Jousting Lance is pretty good for the lucky, but you do probably have to buy a little bit less in the way of sort of speculative nonsense that I bought. Like the coil was very bad, the insanity was very bad, the crystal was very bad. You're always going to be taking hits. So I definitely bought a few items that didn't really do much. Gummy Berserker, pretty weak as well. So that's why you saw like kind of a mid-game slump, is because I bought a few items that just aren't very strong. But we nevertheless ended up clearing the wave and defeating yet another character. Only 10 more to go, so let's see if we can do it. This was certainly one of the easier characters remaining, so we've definitely got some brutal ones coming up. Which, of course, if you've enjoyed this video, you can leave a comment and hit like, and if you want to see those next ones, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.